Mate, welcome along to episode 20 of the Strategy and Conversions podcast. Mark, I know we say it every week about it's another one, but this is 20, it feels quite magical. It feels like we're getting up there. Double figures was always good, but getting into the 20s.
Get into the 20s. I know it's and we say this all the time as well about how it's amazing how it just keeps coming. Consistency, isn't it? We're doing it consistently, and all of a sudden, you're into it's amazing getting into the 20s, and I'm sure that we'll carry on.
We'll carry on. I was doing the math this morning. I was like, okay, look, let's get to 26. Once we get to 26, that's half a year.
That is, don't say that. That is staggering.
But talk about the consistency, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You don't realize, 26.
It's quite interesting how, we talk about kind of habits and forming habits and stuff like that, and we pencil it in. There's been a few times when we couldn't actually make it and we've had to reschedule and stuff like that, but we have formed that habit where we know the time that we're doing it.
Yeah.
We need to maybe get a bit better at what we're going to talk about, because sometimes we have a bit of a chat before. But this time, we have had a little chat, and we were going through different topics. What can we talk about during this podcast? And what we're going to do? We're just going to look at maybe our 3 favorite topics that we've covered, or 3 favorite things that have come up through the last 19 episodes of the podcast that we kind of take as, those kind of real core areas that are going to help you with your next steps forward. And we're recording this now. We're in August of 2021. We're looking at September as being everything back in play, right? After the whole pandemic and stuff like that, people getting back into the swing of it all, people taking things seriously. So this is a great opportunity right now to get ready, and this is what we're looking to do with this episode of the podcast. So Mark, I'll let you start, mate. You can go with one of your topics. Maybe it's up to you. You can run through all 3, or we can run through one at a time, but we'll just see how that goes, mate. So over to you.
So the one I want, obviously, as probably most of will realize, the one I want to go through, because it's closest to my heart, is all about setting the life goals and then the business goals. So I can't stress enough, as we've said in the previous podcast, how important it is that you've decided to run a business. And the reason for running a business is, they're multifold, obviously, reasons, but it's really ultimately looking for freedom and lifestyle when it comes down to it. What the last thing you want to be doing is creating a business that is such a behemoth that all of a sudden you're spending all your time in business and not in your life, if you like, because this is the whole freedom point. And this is why it's so important to set your life goals first. Because the business is the vehicle to get you to the life that you want, and you do not want to be, as I say, struggling more than 9 to 5, struggling from say 8 till 8 on your business, and not actually living your life. So I know we've spoken to this before. I know we've spoken at length about how to set goals, but it's having the life goals, setting that dumb goal. What is it you really, really want to get to? That dream-based, unencumbered, but really motivational and bold goal that you probably have no idea how you're going to get it, but it's something you really, really want, and it's going to scare the life out of you. And then from that, you create your own little SMART goals. This is still for your life, so those are the specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based goals that then break down from your dumb goal. And then once you've sort of got those, once you have those in place, for example, if you're thinking about, right, I want to take 2 holidays this year. Okay, so what's it going to cost me? How much time do I need to take? Once you have those ideas putting out, then you can plug into your business goals. Right, I need to make this amount of money. I need to have this amount of free time I'm going to give myself. And all of a sudden your business becomes really does become the vehicle that's helping you to achieve your time away. So I've said this in previous podcasts. I know that quite a few mentors that I know always sit down at the very, very beginning of the year and plan their holidays first. That's the first thing they do, because their lifestyle, they want the money to go on holiday, and they want the time to go on holiday. All planned first. It's put into the calendar, and then the business fits around those holidays, and it gives them the ultimate idea of how much they want to earn and the amount of time they have off. And, if you've got people like listening to this who are in a situation where they are literally sole traders working on their own, then it gives you an idea, right? I need to start creating an amount of income that's going to come into my business so that I can contract out maybe a VA during the period I'm away to look after my business for me from the point of view of phone calls and answering emails and that kind of stuff. But it just gives you, once you have those goals in place, you've got something to work, you've got something to work to, and they're going to motivate you, because who doesn't love going on holiday and having some time off?
Definitely.
Yeah, you might love your job, but ultimately you want some time. Well, I imagine you want some time with your family and getting away from it.
Yeah, I think John made exactly that though. Like you said there is, okay. The whole thing with the life goals is your business becomes a vehicle to support your life goals. And okay, you work out what you want in your life, and then you work out how your business can bring that to you, And I think so many times you get people who they start off with that dumb goal that, is the kind of thing, oh yeah, next month I want to be a millionaire sort of thing, and it's just, it never happens.
Yeah.
Because it's just, for one, it's unrealistic without, already already having that kind of vehicle in place that is, making something like that happen.
Yeah.
But the point there is that they have no map. They have no way of even achieving it or getting towards it. So even if that was a year down the line, I want to earn $1 million down the line, they still need to map out, okay, how's that going to happen? So I've got my life goal here. I've got that dumb goal. I've now got my yearly goal. Okay. And we did a whole 2-hour training on this, right? With it recently, and it's breaking it all down into manageable chunks and taking the next step. But what I really love, mate, is like you said there is, okay, maybe it's a sole trader. I think sometimes people think maybe they're too small in the game to look at doing that whole kind of planning. Where if you look at anyone who is at the top of their game, who is really successful, it all comes back down to proper planning.
Yeah. And going back onto the mindset thing, which I know we go into a lot about this as well. If you have the mindset that you're too small and you can't do this, guess what? You're going to stay too small and you're never going to do it. So
true.
We've talked about this before, is that even as a sole trader, you build out your organizational tree, even if you're doing every job, because straight away you can see what are the first things I can delegate, which are going to free up my time to do other things and build my business. And then I need some time to as a break and rest on this, So life goals are so important, and the better you plan. As you said, when we get the SMART goals in place, we break them all the way back down. What do I need to do this week to get to that dumb goal? Because ultimately, the dumb goal is what you want. So it comes down to, what can I even do today? Sometimes you can't break it down that much into some businesses, but it's certainly, what am I going to do this week to start getting me there? And then, of course, the whole piece at the end of it is the accountability. So at the end of the week, right, what did I get done? And the stuff I didn't get done, what got in the way?
And it's all about being truthful there as well, right? Because tidying your desk does not move you forward.
No, you've got to. But saying that, tidying your desk it does unclutter your mind. So at least
totally, mate. I mean,
but I get your point. Yeah, you need to understand
those tasks that people put on the list, or that they're busy doing something, but it isn't helping. It isn't moving them forward. They're just doing something usually to avoid doing something else. But that's a whole different story.
That's a whole.
And talking quickly there, mate, just about with mindset as well, about starting, like someone staying small because their mindset is always in that kind of small game.
Yeah,
I think we do see that at different levels as well, with people in business who they start putting stuff off, where they say, oh yeah, we'll get to that when, or oh yeah, that's sometime in the future. And it's like, just put a date on it.
Just put a date,
and you'll get work towards it. You'll get there, and once you have that in place, something else is going to happen. And most of the time, the things that people have been putting off like that, once they start doing them, they say, why don't I do them sooner?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And this is the whole thing with the SMART goals. The T is time-based. Put a date on it. Otherwise, as you say, you'll never get it done. So that's kind of like the very, very the short version of life goals and a little bit of the mindset. I'll go on to the other one, because the other one I love as well, because I think it's so important, and I know that we've all been guilty of this, and I'm guilty of this from time to time, but it's the follow-ups. And the reason I use the word follow-ups, plural, because most people follow up singular and then don't understand why they don't get the business. And I know we've mentioned this before, and I think it's I can't remember the exact figures, but I know that this is an average figure. So some will buy in a shorter period of time, but there are some that will buy in a much longer period of time. So the average is that people won't buy until you follow them up 5 times. And interestingly enough, again, another survey, I've got a feeling it was Forbes or something, a survey somewhere in the States, that the average sales process allows a follow-up of 2 times.
Yeah.
So there's a huge disparity there, where all of a sudden you're not getting the business because you're not following up.
That podcast episode is our highest listened to podcast episode.
Really? Yeah.
And it's titled Double Your Sales.
Double your sales, yeah.
And that's all it is, really, is what we're now. We go through that survey and those figures, and there's a bit more to it. But it basically just runs through, like you said, most people are following up twice.
Yeah,
but most businesses are following up twice, but most people are buying after 5 interactions.
Yeah, that's right.
All you need to do is just follow up more.
Double up your sales, exactly. Just follow up another, just say, right, okay, I'm going to make 3 more phone calls or emails or whatever, or combination. That's the other thing. The other thing about follow-ups is that if you follow up always using the same channel, you may be losing out because they may not read their emails for weeks. Yep. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how many emails I've got. 10,000.
So which?
They are, yeah. There's stacks of emails, and unless you act on it straight away, I things fall into the pile. But God, how many channels we got? Well, WhatsApp, we've got emails, we've got Messenger, SMS. There are hundreds of different channels you can use. So the follow-ups aren't about saying that I'm always going to follow up 5 times on this media. It's just using different ways and different techniques. Even, great, even written letters. We've talked about that before. How good are they when you suddenly get something in the post and you think, God, yes, I saw the email, haven't done anything about it. I'll get on the phone now.
In that podcast episode, actually, we do have a lot of different tactics and stuff like that we talk about for following up, because I think that a lot of people think when they follow up, they're just harassing people. Yeah, but actually, the person is waiting for you to follow up because it slipped their mind, or they've been busy doing something else, that they're just waiting for that push, that prod, just to go, what's going on? And they're like, definitely, I forgot all about that.
And just talking about that's really interesting about the interruption thing. So I had a guy I was working with a while back now, and this is copywriting, doing some writing for him and comms with his team and everything. And he was useless at getting back to me. He was so busy and all disorganized that he would never get back to me. And I would, this is going back a while. I would deliberate so long. Or shall I call him? Am I going to be a pain in the ass calling him again? And I used to phone him up and I said, I'm sorry to chase you up again. He said, no, please chase me up, because I need people to chase me up. So people need that. They want that to happen. So never think that you're driving them at the wall because you're constantly phoning them up, because some people need it and want it. And they're exactly the kind of people that if you don't follow up, they're just going to forget you.
That's exactly it. And you coined the phrase on that episode as well, as fortune is in the follow-ups.
Yeah, follow-ups, the plural.
And that is it. Yeah, I'll definitely go back and check out that episode. I mean, even if you listen to it, go back and listen to it again, because there'll be something else in there that just triggers you to go, I need to contact that person.
Yeah. Awesome. So that's I've got another one, but
go. Let's go into it, mate. Let's go in all the way. Let's go into the first one.
So the final thing, of course, because it's my passion, is copywriting. Yeah. So the whole point somewhere, the whole point about my model, the great copy model. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of models that work, some better than others, but the reason I came up with this model called Great is because it's great, A, and B, for me, it's an evolution of all the different things that work and the stuff that really, really helps. And the reason why it's a 5-point model, and the point is in the middle of that is stuff which a lot of copy leaves out. So I'll just run through it quickly. So the G is for grabbing attention, is the headline, a really emotional headline that pulls people in. It's all about psychology. This is the part of selling that is purely about psychology.
Definitely.
Two main things that people will open an email or something that you've sent them is either they know you that well, they think, oh, I've got to open this from Jamie. So they'll open the email, or the headline grabs them. Now, the top one you can't influence if you haven't been around that long, but the second one you can. So that headline is so important to grab them. And the second, the R of the great formula is about raising the desire. So the whole point about you've grabbed their attention, then it's an emotional. So I use a lot of for dieting and that kind of stuff for my examples, because I've written for quite a few people on weight management and stuff. And it's when you wake up the following day, you feel really sluggish and slow because you feel that you're unable to lose weight, and it just gives you a bit of brain fog and you can't get going. And it's painting that picture of, oh God, it's horrible, struggling up every day. And that's where the raise of the desire. The raise of the desire is that they want to do something about it. You thought, right, okay. Then you have the whole E and the A. The E bit is about eliciting the affirmations and the trust. So then you start giving solutions to how they can change the situation. Not yours necessarily at this point, but the solutions. And the whole idea of the affirmation thing is that people start nodding their head as they're reading it. Can you see how this will be of benefit? Oh yeah, I can. So, and then you're asking affirming type questions, so that all of a sudden you're making the sale even before they realize that they need a sale, because they're nodding their head, they're ticking those boxes. And then the other E is the elicit the trust, because then you move on to the stage where you say, right, well, I can offer you all this, plus I do this, this, and this. And all of a sudden okay, that's interesting. So they can see the kind of stuff that most of the people will give, but there's something else. And that is where they start to build the trust that actually you really know what you're talking about. And then that's where a lot of copy doesn't put that in. It doesn't go showing what they do extra. And then the final piece, the A of that is the authority. And it just needs a single sentence of a testimonial, but something that says, this is how so-and-so felt, one-liner, and it's really improved my life, it's really done this, whatever. Something that's from your testimonials that you just put in there to show that the authority, I can deliver what I say I can. And then the T, which is so, to me, they're all important, but it's a really crucial thing to bear in mind, is that you're not trying to make the sale, you're trying to move them from being a passive reader into an action taker, to take some form of action, whether it's book a phone call or click a link. Ultimately, there could be one where you're asking for the sale, depending on how far along they are in the sales process. But there's too many people who write copy, and it's instantly trying to get them to buy something, and you just switch people off unless they're really, really primed to buy. And you'll get some people that will do, but you're going to lose a lot of money on the table because they're going to move on to someone else. You'll just ask them to say, maybe a question, think about this, send me an answer or send me a reply, something that moves them into that taking action category, where they can start thinking, that's a good question, I hadn't really thought about that. It's made them think, and they think, what, I'm going to click for a phone call. And that's the whole T, the transform.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know when we went through the whole kind of, you explained the great model to me, and I was just like, I get it. This is awesome. And how important is that to someone as well, people who struggle with their copy or struggling with putting stuff together, they sit down, they're just like, what should I write?
What should I write? Yeah.
We're giving, the great model gives you the template.
Yeah, that's the point.
And you just have to fill it in. And there was a phrase I heard a while back, man, and I love this. And I think this fits so well with the great method there is, you never start from a blank page. So you get the people, they stare at the blank Word document or whatever it is, and they're like, right, okay, what should I write? And it's like, no, actually, look, here is the template. This is what you just fill in the blanks.
And interesting enough, I was critiquing somebody. So the other day, someone is writing emails, and they wanted me to check them through, say, is this right? Is that? And I read through the email. I thought, they're quite well written. Then I thought, right, okay, where do I start? And again, the critique was, right, what am I looking at? And again, I just thought, all right, the great model, is the headline good? Are they raising the design? Where are they establishing the authority? So I was able then to take that model and be able to critique it and say, right, that needs to be stronger. This piece is well written, good. That piece, there's nothing in there. You need to put the authority bit. And you're asking for them to buy now, not buy now, click a link or get something going. So it's easy for coach. So when I do the copy coaching, it's the model I use for the coaching as well, all the time. I just use that. It's always in my head. Easy to, great. It's an easy model to remember. And it's not difficult to actually learn what it all stands for. So it takes a couple of quotes, a couple of times to do it. And it's just so useful because, like you said, you start with a blank page and you think, where do I start? Right, great. Start with a headline. And I know lots of other models, lots of other copywriting models say that same thing, start with a headline. And so obviously it's going to say this, it's going to be the same thing as well. But it gives you more steps than, for example, the other thing like Ada is a very, very common one. And it gives you, and it makes you think about, this is the point, isn't it? It makes you think about building that authority and trust, because that's what people want to read about.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think as well, what I really like about it, I mean, if you go back through some of these episodes where you talk about copy and talk about Graham, and we talk about the call to actions, and I guess that's where it gets into where I get like really interested in the kind of call to actions and what that next step is, because, it's always in control of that person. They get to decide their next step. But I know from talking with you before is that what you said is that sometimes people need to be told that they can take the next step, or they're allowed to take the next step, where some people are just they're waiting to be told, okay, if you want to buy, go here. They won't do it off of their own back. They need
it's weird. It's weird, that psychology. But people, this is the whole thing through the marketing psychology, which I love and I got really interested in, is that people still remember when their parents or their teachers told them to do things. All in the back of their head, maybe, but it's still there. So when you tell them to do things and you lead them and say, come on, I'm giving you permission. You can do this.
That's the word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Permission.
It's kind of, I can click that link.
Yeah. But it's weird.
Yeah.
We can't describe it, but we know it exists. That's the thing. It's like that there is a gem. Like whatever you've got, you just need to put it in. I remember being told this with outsourcing. So especially if you were outsourcing overseas, right? And they said you need to spoon feed people.
Yeah.
So you need to break it really down. No slang words or anything like that. You need to just break it down into real small steps and basically spoon feed them. And it's a similar thing with when we're talking about taking action.
Yeah.
Is that you just need to spell it out to them.
Yeah.
To take action. Don't assume that someone's going to take action.
No, that's right. Yeah, exactly right. Because because the brain is an amazing instrument, but it can be so complicated and can put all sorts of blocks in our way of doing things. So you lead them to the action.
Cool, mate. That's your free. You're done now. You can't talk about it anymore. You're over. I don't know, mate. There's so much throughout all the podcast episodes. I think we just chat. That's the thing, is that we just chat and things come about, and even us going at the end of the episode, we'll say, this bit and that bit, and we'll be like, wow, where did that come from? Like that there is a hidden gem that we forgot about.
Yeah, exactly.
It just comes up as we're talking. But maybe I'll start off with one of mine. Was like a couple of episodes ago where we talked about local business marketing. Like for me, that opportunity is just so massive, and it's so massive that potentially all you need is one street. and that's all the customers you need. Trades are really good at this. I mean, if you're in a trade or you offer something direct to consumer, you basically need one street, right? People talk. If Mrs. Jones is having her roof done, you're interested to think, okay, do I need my roof done? And that gives a business a great opportunity just to be able to say, look, we're doing Mrs. Jones's roof, do you want yours done and stuff like that? And man, I know like where I live, I've mentioned it before in the podcast, is that always get a knock on the door with someone trying to say, look, do you need this? Do you need that? You know, not in like a dodgy way. I mean, like in like a like tree surgeon and you know doing roofing and trades and stuff like that. And I can remember that this guy, he knocked on the door and he's like, oh, sorry to bother you. I'm just working over the back, cutting down the trees in the garden and everything like that. I just want to make sure none are falling over. And it's like, I know you're lying because it's a woods behind me. Like, you know, there's no house behind me. So it's like, I know you're lying, but fair play for starting off the conversation in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. That you're not just knocking on the door saying, do you want your trees cut or something like that? It's just like, you know, it's already building that rapport, building that reputation. And look, you don't want to hoodwink people, but you know, you can bend it in a certain way where you start that conversation off, you know, and stuff like that. But basically there, do you know, you've got a fantastic opportunity on your doorstep. So we're talking about their trades with, you know, just one street. You get people as well who like, for instance, network marketers who do like the energy and gas and electric and stuff like that. Again, you only need one street. People talk, you know,
they do.
Look at either side. You're dealing with one house. Well, look at the two houses either side. You know, can you help them as well? It's that simple. And the same thing as if you're offering, you know, B2B services, you know, and you've got a high street with shops. All you need to do is go into each shop and introduce yourself. Right. And it's a volume game, definitely, but you will pick up business that way. And I think we're in a time where, you know, we're coming out of this whole kind of pandemic. I know we're so say out of it or whatever, but you know, we're looking at September as being that kind of fire up and starting again. It's that what a great way to get started is just to meet people. You know, everyone has had that lack of interaction.
Yeah, they have.
You know, all of a sudden now building that relationship is going to give you.
I love that the whole analogy of working the street, because you used got to go around houses and see how many houses have exactly the same porch that was put on after the house was built, because somebody's done exactly that. I just built a porch down the road. Would you like one? How many houses do you see that have all got dormer conversions? Yeah, they got extra bedrooms and the loft conversions, and they're all the same. It's because the same person has been going to each house and saying, yeah, just down the road, see that one? What do you think of that? Oh, that's pretty good. I can do the same for you. Oh, okay. Bang. There you go, you know. And yeah, you won't get every house, but you'll get a lot of houses. And it's likely that if they carry on talking, that you'll come back again to that one street. So it just takes courage maybe for some people and a bit of footwork. And this is what we try and, we're always trying to talk about, isn't it? Confidence and courage is two of the things we talk about. The courage to help to grow your business is by knock on that door. That could be the lead. That could be the person that actually, transforms your business, because they may want a loft conversion, and then they may want an extension at the back, and then they may want, can you fit a path as well? And can you build a wall here? You know, it could. You don't know where it's going to lead, but if you don't do it, you'll never know.
It makes me laugh, man. I think local business marketing, it offers so much opportunity there that this is a great way if you're struggling for customers, right, to get out and see people, because even if it's not for them, they might know someone else. They put you in touch. People, as much as we're being hit with sales messages all the time and marketing messages and all this kind of stuff, people are still nice. So like, you may catch people at a bad day, but sometimes people are open to just having a conversation, right? If you're just there trying to sell something to them, right? Okay, yeah, do what everyone's got that kind of image of a secondhand car salesman who is just trying to sell them whatever, But look, if you're going in with a genuine way and how you can help someone, people will listen.
Yeah, that's right. And this just came to mind then, talking about the similar things. Courage is the thing that holds us back. Going back to mindsets. People think, I can't knock on their door. They might think they may not want somebody coming along, and they might think I'm being a pain. But if you genuinely got a service that will help them, and you just go, I was just thinking back in the days, I mean, I'm showing my age maybe, but back in the days of the scouts of Bob a Job, they used to go around, can I wash your car? Yeah. Because they were raising money for charity, but they'd go around and they say, we've had some really recently really bad weather, and mud's been flying everywhere. Can I wash your car? Yeah. Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And the thing is, that there is sometimes people are wanting your service, right? But they just don't know where to go and how to get it.
Yeah.
And you're walking in, you're like the knight in shining armor.
Sometimes, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you're there for them.
Yeah.
And no, mate, that whole thing of courage, I think, yeah, that's exactly it. I think sometimes that is the big thing behind why people won't go out and do stuff like that. Like this is what I mean when I say that it provides so much opportunity that it surprises me how many people would rather than spend their day making TikTok videos, right, than going out and having a conversation with round the corner where there's a group of hungry customers there. I think it comes back to that courage and that confidence and clarity, and that brings me on to actually my second I guess point of the podcast episodes, where I think we really hit the nail on the head, and this is something that I'm really big behind, is that, look, when it comes to marketing your business is only a small part of that. You know, the actual products or services is what people buy.
Yeah.
Right? And they buy that from you to have that transformation. So they're looking to buy that product or service from you because they want you to help them get from point A to point B. That's what you're doing with a product or a service. You're not marketing, saying we do all this, we do all that.
No, that's right.
Give our business your money. It doesn't work that way. It's like, look, we have this product or service that is going to get you from here to here. Of course, you can have different variations, or you might even need to have a conversation to determine which of your products or services is best fitted for that person.
Yeah.
But once you have the clarity over one, I call it your pop. Right, I think that this is your prop, right? So look, your positioning is like, okay, look, where is it you fit? Where within the market do you fit? Who is it you serve? How do you help that person? Your offering then is, okay, look, what it is that I give you, and then your process then is, okay, how do you help them achieve it?
Yeah,
exactly. Once you are crystal clear on that, you have that clarity, your confidence, your courage, that when you're talking to someone, you are generally having that conversation where you're saying, look, I can help you.
Yeah.
I'm here today. I mean, look, not everyone's going to jump forward. It's crazy. I think we're all experts in our own right. We know what we bring to the table. We know how people need it. And then we get frustrated when we're less like, why can't you see that you need this?
Yeah, that's right.
And like, there's lots of different reasons behind that, and we did a training this week on lead generation. And we went through the whole kind of thing of that there are lots of different considerations going on. You need to give a new realization, or you need to hit their level of awareness.
Yeah.
To bring them into, to have that conversation, to look at it. But that thing of getting that right, getting how you market your products or services right, starts off with knowing your product and service in and out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and how you can help. Yeah, because this really comes down. Again, something that sprang to mind then as you were talking is, you were saying it's a conversation. Sales is just a conversation. When you're marketing, you're getting people interested. You're raising their desire. You're getting them educated. For example, somebody, can I wash your car? And they say, well, it doesn't need washing, does it? And you say, well, actually, look at all that down there. Oh, I didn't realize that. You've raised education, and the sale is, so yeah, can I wash your car? Of course you can. It's a conversation. There's nothing more. You're not saying buy this now. You're actually having that conversation, education, and then at the end of it, you just say, well, so how can I help? It's just a simple conversation.
And look, that pop. Look, if you get that right, you will get more customers. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
What happens, I think, a lot of the time, is people don't realize that the ball is in the court of the customer. And they're so desperate to get the sell that they're really trying to push the sell. Like, you need this, blah, blah, blah. And people just like, I don't need it. Like, why do I need it? Yeah, and the reason there is you're trying to push the sell rather than explain the transformation.
Yeah.
And that is that clarity part, and that confidence and that courage is, look, that you can get someone from point A to point B, and how you do it so that they can move on to their point C.
Yeah.
You get your head around that. Yeah. And it's a different game when it comes to marketing.
Yeah. Absolutely right. Yeah, and that's crucial, isn't it? That the product, that if you can, especially as you were talking about, they're in a position where they want that this gap completed. So you move them to point A from A to point B, which enables them then, like you just said, to go, wow, now I can go on to point C, because this gap that they couldn't work out how it was going to be filled has just been filled.
And I think maybe just picking up on that topic briefly there is that I think a lot of people try to sell the point C without without the person trying to get to point B, so they're either not mapping out how they get to point B and then point C, so it seems a bit unrealistic or a bit too far away for that person. So all we're trying to do is help people take those steps towards what they want to do. But that to me is point two, mate. And I think we've probably covered that on a few different podcasts rather than it being just one. But I know when we talked about lead generation a lot, we did get into
that's what we're about. We're all about the marketing strategy and then converting. So of course we are.
So it runs through all
our conversations.
Yeah, totally. And the third one, mate, is quite interesting. This is something that you spoke about at a seminar years ago, and it came up on the podcast episode, and this is our second most listened to podcast episode, and this is about the guy who went from 2 million to 10 million just by adding in a business model, basically an income channel, right? So building on his business model. So the business didn't have to change, the business didn't have to spend lots of money on marketing and all this kind of stuff. And this is where I say it didn't have to spend it on marketing. It's strategic marketing. It's business processes backed by strategic marketing to make a new business model, happen, to bring an income channel into your business. And what this guy did is he had a successful business there.
Yeah.
And everything's fine. Everything's moving along. There is, annual growth that's happening. It's rhythmic. It's continuing. It's sustainable. It's maintainable. And, everything's fine there. But he's looking at ways and how he can add more income channels into his business, which is an amazing stage to get to for any business.
Yeah.
Instead of just chasing, okay, how can we get more customers in? How can we grow and stuff like that? We're at a stage where we're happy. We know what we're doing. Things are growing. Okay, what else can we do? Add to this, And all he did there was just add a business model in.
Yeah.
And it's produced 4 times more than what his business was doing anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know combined then, he's making 10 million a year rather than 2 million a year.
Yeah.
I know it came up, and I remember the first time I heard it, and then hearing it that time as well. I was just like, how amazing is that?
It was an amazing transformation, and it all happened, would you believe, within 1 year. And that is, to me, that is the thing that is staggering, is that he wanted, at the time, he wanted to double his turnover. So that would have been to 4 million. And he ended up at the end of the year with a 10 million turnover without much extra cost as well.
And that's what I mean. I know we went into it in a bit more detail and how that actually happened and stuff like that. But the point is that it wasn't a case of we had to buy another business or you had to shell out a lot of money on like a startup or anything like that. No. It was just like, look, we've got a successful business here. How can we add to it?
Yeah.
Or how can we basically look at processes within there to make the business more profitable?
Yeah, that's right. And and
what I loved on that episode as well is obviously we drove into that kind of strategic marketing side of look, okay, how do you double your turnover, or how do you quadruple your turnover, or whatever it is. And we were looking then about how look, you're getting leads in, you could double your leads, you could double your conversion, you could double your price, you could double the frequency. You double any of these, you will double your business. But you only need to improve those by a fraction to double your business. And if you can double all of those, you're running away. And it's like, there's so many things that you can do in business to add more revenue, more profit, and even make things simpler.
Yeah.
And it's just, you don't know what you don't know.
And that is a classic phrase as well, because this came about in a mastermind, as you know. And this guy, he was an intelligent guy, don't get me wrong. And we were in a mastermind of 6 or 7 people, I guess. On his own, he would have never, ever, ever have got to that stage. It was an idea put out by somebody in the mastermind that someone else took on and said, oh, you can do this. That someone else then got involved in, that we all got involved in. And it suddenly, within an evening, it came into this great big plan. Right, God, I can do this. I can set this in motion. Because we came up with all these ideas. So none of us had that idea. All of us had little snippets of ideas that we all worked on. And this is all about thinking, going into the thing we were talking about. People to do that, to actually get to that 10 million, it didn't just click. He had to think about it. And he was in a mastermind of which I was part, and we all helped each other, because you're working on his problem and your idea comes out and you think, I've got this idea, but I'm not sure how it's going to work. And then someone says, yeah, well, it can work because we can do this as well. And then, wow, what happens if we did that one? And bang, as I say, in a whole, we were scribbling on pads and everything the whole evening. We were sitting in a bar. People were looking at us, probably thinking, oh, they're really strange. And he came up the next day. Basically, that was his business plan.
Yeah.
A few refinements the following day, but away he went. It was incredible.
What I love with that there, mate, is that whole kind of concept there of like the mastermind and coming together. Well, look, even if we just take a business, that is how a business works, is that there's different parts within a business.
Yeah.
That, you know, on their own, they're great and they work. But once you put them together, you know, you combine them and it's a whole different beast.
Completely. Yeah. And this is the whole point, isn't it? You know, so if you just looking at business processes, which again is quite a thing that we both really love looking at. But once you have a process working, so you might have a process got a few little clunky items going on, but once you've got one working smoothly and maybe one other component working smoothly, even though there might still be a clunky part in the chain, it suddenly is improved in its efficiency. And once you have it all working smoothly, it doesn't just double your efficiency; it can quadruple it. You know, simply because it just needs a bit of thought, a little tweak here, a little adjustment there, and all of a sudden the thing is just humming. And it's such a joy to watch when that happens.
No, I was looking at looking at a business recently, and just their lead generation process, and they're just saying, yeah, you know, we're getting leads, yeah, we're getting traffic, you know, but we're just not getting conversions and stuff like that. And it's a case of, well, look, first off, you're not even telling anyone how to take the next step. They have to figure that out by themselves, right? And then when they are really keen then to take a next step, you're telling them that they need to pick who they need to speak with within your business. And it's like they need to work that out for themselves.
Yeah.
And then they got to set up a call, right? Or they've got to send an email through or something like that for the person to get in touch with them. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, they had to get in touch with them for the person to set up a call with them. And then to get on a call. And it's like all that there, you know, you can get rid of that straight away and just be like, look, speak to one of our people here.
Yeah.
Put your details in, you know, book this time frame here, you know, and this is when we're talking. And it's just like, why did you have these different barriers?
Yeah.
And it's but they couldn't see it.
But they couldn't see it.
For them, they're thinking they're making it easier because they think this person deals with that. This person deals with that. We don't want to complicate, you know, for the client. And they're just like, look, the client isn't even in that part at the moment where they know that you have different people to speak with. They just know that they have this problem. They're wondering if you can help with a solution. Let's just get them to take that next step.
Yeah. And you know, one thing that bears this out to me more than anything is Amazon. So I'm not a great lover of Amazon's website. I think the way it's laid out, the way it's not that intuitive. It's a bit clunky, the website, the way it's displayed. But their one-click ordering system is phenomenal. So as a customer, you don't want to, okay, can you put your card details in there? Can you do this? Can you do that? No, Amazon remembers it all. Okay, some people say that's a bit dodgy, but it remembers it all. I want that. Bang. PayPal sorted out everything. And even though it took you a while to get to it, you just say, yeah, actually, I could buy that product now. And that end cart, if you like, is just, there's no other company that I know of makes it that slick.
Yeah.
And look at Amazon, and of course, you know, the fact that their front end website is not the best, I don't think, it doesn't matter because the buying process is so easy for the customer, and the customer wants to buy. They hate being sold to, like I keep saying, customer hates being sold to, but they love to buy. And if it's easy for them to buy, guess what? They will buy.
And that comes back down again to emotion, right? And that feeling of what they have once they've purchased something.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like there's lots of stuff we can go on with that.
Oh yes, yeah.
Amazon is a great example because I think there's so many things on there that, you know, you can point at to go, look, they've figured out this over time. This is a better way of doing things. And like, even when it comes down to, the color of their order button, the way how it is staged, and this is really interesting actually, is that if you take Amazon, you'll have a picture of the item, and then you'll have the details about buying.
Yeah.
And you actually have to scroll down to read the information about the product.
Yeah.
It's 9 times out of 10, or even more than that, 99 times out of 100, people, most businesses will have that the other way around, and they have the buy button at the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, if someone's already in their mind that they want to buy this.
Yeah. Call to action.
Stop making them go all the way to the bottom of the page. Absolutely. They just want to buy, and that's what really fascinates me as well with Amazon. And obviously the data shows that this is great as well, is that you're looking at an item and straight underneath it will say, people who purchase this also purchase this part. And then even better underneath that, they will say, buy these 3 items together for X amount of money. Now, if you work it out, you don't save any money by buying the 3 of them.
No.
Right? But they just make it easy for you to press yes.
Yeah.
I'll have all 3.
Yeah.
And at that point, you just think, well, if I'm getting this one, I want this as well, and I want that. So I may as well just get it all together. Yeah. And all of a sudden now that cart value is just increased.
And that's that they've concentrated. Amazon have concentrated on the selling process rather than the kind of the front end. So sometimes takes a while to navigate. It's a lot better than it used to be. But then they just make that, like you said, there's no overt tripwires like there are on some sites that all of a sudden, Lord Joe, before you go, and they give you another spiel and buy something, and then before you go again, there's none of that. It's just that, well,
we're all together now.
Yeah, people have bought these. You can buy them together, and you think, well, why not? And it makes sense. It's adding, and that the Amazon experience is not necessarily, well, it's obviously adding value, but it's the real value is to the ease. That's the whole thing. People just want an easy life, and if you can get to the stage where you're giving your clients or customers an easy life through a service product that explains what they need to do and how to put it through in the process. Like you said, the POP, it's the whole process at the back end. This is how it works. This is how you can make it work. How you can make it work for you. Then they're going to love it. They think, oh right, okay, I know what to do.
Yeah, I love it. I think we'll look to start to wrap things up now. I know we've been through our top 3, each of us, our top 3 moments within, or topics that we've covered within the podcast so far. We're getting now to episode 20, and obviously, next week we'll record 21. I think what a good way to kind of wrap up on, and that will actually bring us on to next week's episode, is that we're talking about Amazon, right? And how awesome Amazon is. And obviously, look, they've changed the game a bit with everything.
Yeah.
And this just goes to show you as well how things change all the time. We talk a lot about within marketing, the processes remain the same, but the marketplace and technology and people's buying habits and everything like that have changed to where we are today. And those processes basically are adapted to work for us. Now, if we take Amazon, if you go back into, I think it's like 80s and even before then and stuff like that, if you take the likes of FedEx and you take UPS, that whole kind of concept, right, is that they could get a parcel from one place in America overnight to another place was laughed at. It was thrown out. You would never be able to do it, Yeah. And it's like that kind of delivery, how that is reduced down now too. You can even order something the same day from Amazon and get it delivered the same, like that day, is insane. Like that's how things have changed over time.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just a way of just educating that way and how things are changing. You think about, look at mobile phones in the 80s where they were like, massive to the computer system that you have in your pocket right now. It brings up so many opportunities. And I think what that will bring us on to is how marketing has changed to being at the forefront and how you need to make it work for you. It's not even a game now of saying, okay, we can do a bit of marketing. And, if we want to, you need to do marketing.
It's essential.
It's essential now. It's got to that point. Without marketing, you don't have a business.
No.
And I think that's what we'll cover in next week's episode.
Yeah.
And we'll basically look at, I guess, talking about us with strategy and conversions, how we've kind of brought this about with I guess the services that we offer, the products that we're offering. I guess picking this up a bit kind of putting us at the front of the game, but just explaining that. And I know one of the services that we're developing at the minute is a fractional director of marketing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And this is where, look, every business needs this. So they need someone who controls their marketing. They guide them, they support them with making decisions within their marketing. But they either don't have the funds or they don't have the necessity to hire someone full-time to be within their business because the need just isn't there. But they need a fraction of that need. And we're talking about how that's come about, how that is needed today and why that is needed. And we'll talk about obviously within the things that you need within your business, whether you're doing them yourself or you're getting someone in. We'll talk about what needs to happen within your business on the marketing front. For you to be successful now moving into 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just become more and more essential, hasn't it? The whole, well, like we always said, going back to the car analogy that we use an awful lot, marketing is the fuel that drives your sales engine. If you haven't got any fuel in your tank and getting to your engine, it doesn't go anywhere. Simple as that.
We've summed it up like this, haven't we? It's like, look, every business needs sales.
Yeah.
How do you get sales? Where you have more conversations with prospects, right? How do you get prospects? Through your marketing.
Through your marketing, yeah.
And whether that's online, offline, whether that's however you want to do it, it comes back to your marketing.
Yeah.
If you're not attracting people, you're not converting people.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's a great topic to end on, right?
I reckon that's a good message. Yeah, definitely.
That's it, man. Okay, let's leave it there. And, we'll see you next week, or, you listen to us next week on the podcast, and we'll see you then.
Yeah. Okay. Take care, everybody.